Hi there, welcome to our YouTube channel Blackboard Virtual Classroom. We have another beautiful poem from class 9 Beehive, and the title of this poem is Wind. So let's see what all we are going to study here. First of all, we are going to study about the poet, then about the poem, explanation of each line, poetic devices, word meaning and phrases, tone, rhyming scheme, message, theme of the poem, and the last but not least is central idea. So we have a lot to study. Go ahead. So let's start about the poet. His full name was Subramania Bharati. He was born on 11th December 1882. He was also known as Mahakavi Bharati. He was a journalist, poet, novelist, and freedom fighter. He was mainly known for Tamilian independence activities, poetry in Tamil, and a social reformer. Some of his notable works are Panchali Sapatham, Pappa Pattu, Karan Pattu, Kuil Pattu, etc. He passed away on 11 December 1921. Let's talk about the poem. This poem was composed by Subramania Bharati. This poem has 21 lines only, and these lines have not been separated into stanzas. The poet draws a living picture of wind here, and wind makes fun of weak people. Apart from this, it teaches us to stand against the oppressors. It advises the weak to become physically and mentally strong. In the poem, wind is the symbol of difficulties and obstacles in human life. So this is a little about the poem. Let's go ahead. Here, before I give you an explanation, let me tell you why I have divided the screen into 4 parts. So here, part number 1 is for extracts from the poem, number 2 for poetic elements, number 3 word meaning, and number 4 poetic devices. So when we study a poem, these 4 parts are very important. So let's see the opening line of the poem. It says the wind blows strongly and causes a lot of destruction. Here the poet is trying to say what happens when wind blows strongly. Yes, it causes a lot of destruction. Here we have another question. How can we make friends with it? Yes, with wind. If we want to make friends, how can we do that? See the opening line. This is the opening line of the poem. Here the poet requests the wind to come softly. Softly means in a careful and gentle manner. Further, the poet says, don't break the shutters of the window. Yes, the wind does not come softly, it comes strongly. And that's why it breaks the shutters of the window. Shutters means doors. Doors of the window. It is a kind of destruction caused by the wind. The third line is don't scatter paper. Another kind of destruction by the wind. Says scatter the papers. Scatter means throw in various direction, various random directions. Now the fourth line is don't throw down the books on the shelf. The poet says there are some books on the shelf, and wind, you do not throw down the books. So here in the 3 lines, don't break the shutters of the window, don't scare the papers, don't throw down the books on the shelf, we see a kind of destruction caused by the wind. And the first line, the poet is requesting the wind to come softly. Now throw down. Throw down means to cause to fall or cast off. Now let's talk about some poetic elements. The first is tone. As I told you, the poet is requesting. So the tone here is pleading or requesting. Apart from that, if we talk about rhyming scheme of the poem, so there is no rhyming scheme because this poem is a free verse poem. Let's talk about poetic devices. So the first poetic device is used here is personification. The wind is personified here. Human attributes have been used. Now, the second is anaphora. Anaphora means repetition of a word in successive words. So, we see here in these 4 lines, term don't is repeated here in the second, third and fourth line. So, it is anaphora. Let's go ahead. Extract number 2. There, look what you did. Here the poet draws the attention of the wind towards the destruction caused by it. In fact, we can say the poet is cursing the wind of causing some destruction. Let's see what kind of destruction. There, look what you did. You refers to wind. Number 1, you threw them all down. There were books on the shelf. The wind has thrown them down. Apart from this, you tore means the wind tore the pages of the books. Tore means it is the second form of the verb tear, that means pull apart by force. You brought rain again. Another accusation is what? Brought rain again. So in these 3 lines, the poet is trying to draw the attention of wind towards the destruction caused in the form of throwing books down, tearing the pages of the books and bringing rain again. So, if we talk about tone, that is accusing, cursing, and as you all know, there is no rhyming scheme as it's a free verse poem. If we talk about poetic devices here, so the first is personification, because you refers to wind, which is a natural element. But here it is addressed as if it were a person. Another poetic device used here is anaphora. That means repetition of you in successive verses. So we can see you in the first line, second line and the third line. So let's go ahead. Take extract number 3. Extract number 3. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. So the poet blames the wind to be clever at poking fun. Poking fun means making fun at weaklings. Weakling means weak people, weak things. Here the poet gives a list of these weak things. It starts with frail, crumbling houses. So what kind of houses? Frail. Frail means weak and delicate. Crumbling means breaking or falling apart into small fragments. So these houses are weak because they are not strong. They are weak and delicate. Apart from that, they are not very much strong because they are in the condition in which they are breaking and falling apart into small fragments. Apart from this, crumbling doors. So the condition of doors are also crumbling. Rafters. So rafter is what? A beam forming part of the internal framework of the roof. In simple, we can say it is a beam is something which is used to support the roof in the house. So these supports are crumbling. Apart from that, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. So these things are not strong, and that is why what happens? The wind god winnows. Winnows means to blow. So the wind god blows them and crushes them all. Crushes means destroy. So destroy them all. Them refers to the things mentioned in the lines, in these lines. Now let's see the poetic devices. So personification, as you can easily identify here, you used for the wind. Apart from that, repetition. Yes, the beautiful example of repetition, because the word crumbling has been repeated here 7 times. If we talk about tone, so that is a somber, because we can see the poet expresses his deep feelings. Seriousness, sadness. Here comes extract number 4. He won't do what you tell him. He refers to the wind god. So the wind god will not do what you tell him. What you tell him? You tell him not to break the shutters of the window. You tell him not to scatter the papers. You tell him not to throw the books down. He won't do this. So come, let's build strong homes. If wind god does not listen to you, what to do? Better to build strong homes, a kind of advice by the poet. Not only this, joint the doors firmly. Firmly means tightly, solidly. And also practice to firm the body. If you are weak, then better to make your body strong. And also make the heart steadfast. Steadfast means strongly determined. So one should be strongly determined. If you follow these advices, do this. Do this means follow these advices. Which advices? Build strong homes, join the doors firmly, to firm the body, make the heart steadfast, and the wind will be friends with us. This way, the wind will be friends with us, because wind does not harm the stronger. It harms the weaker only. Now, if we talk about poetic elements, then the tone, it can easily be identified. It is advising. And if we talk about poetic devices, so dear students, the whole poem is a beautiful example of metaphor. And next is personification. He, here, wind god. So this is how this extract go. Let's take the next extract. The wind blows out weak fires. According to the poet, if fires are weak, they are blown out by the wind. But in case they are strong, they are helped by wind. They are helped to be roar and flourish. Roar means loud sound. Flourish means make strong. His friendship is good. So finally the poet says his friendship is good. But how it is good? When we have a strong heart, we have a strong will, we have a strong houses, we have a strong windows, then his friendship is good, and we praise him every day. So this is the end note. We praise him every day. Poetic elements. So tone is advising, onomatopoeia. This is a beautiful example here, and a new poetic device. So the word roar is used to describe the noise of fire. What is onomatopoeia? It is something which describes the sound of something. In the poem, if there is any kind of sound by any article or by anything, then it is an example of onomatopoeia. Apart from this metaphor, the whole poem, I have already told you, is a metaphor. So now let's take some final notes. Now, the conclusion of the poem with themes, as we know there are more than one. So the first is power of wind. Second, inspiration to face the difficulties bravely. Third, friendship. There is a beautiful message, which is we should develop mental toughness and physical strength in order to survive the hardships of life. If we are weak, hardships like wind may destroy us. To be friends with strong, one should also be strong enough. The central idea of the poem is we should be strong in mind and body. The wind will be our friend when we are strong. Actually, the wind represents the difficulties and challenges we face in our life. We should encounter them boldly. So thank you very much, and I hope you have understood this explanation. Thank you very much.